Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Okay, what's going on, guys? So, excuse me, I just got out of Spider-Man No Way Home. As you guys know, I am a press member, so I got to see a early screening of it. Gang. I wish I could have saw this movie yesterday, like most of the press world, but so, as you guys know, I love superhero stuff. I grew up reading superhero comic books. So obviously I love superhero films. All right, so Spider-Man from 2002, Tobey Maguire. I gave that a 10 out of 10. Spider-Man 2, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Spider-Man 3, I gave it a 4 out of 10. The Amazing Spider-Man, I gave it a 3 out of 10. And The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I gave a 2 out of 10. Spider-Man Homecoming, 5 out of 10. Spider-Man Far From Home, I gave it a 3 out of 10. And now, and just for the record, Tobey Maguire is and was the best Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure that the best Spider-Man movie ever made was Into the Spider-Verse. Pretty sure. And then for me it goes Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man number 1 from 2002, and then the rest just sort of trickle down from there. So that's where my head's at, all right? Now, the latest Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. What did I think of it? I'm in the middle. There's no denying that this is the biggest Spider-Man movie ever made. There's no denying that this is the craziest, most bonkers Spider-Man film ever made. At least in live action, anyways. There's no denying that this movie is exciting. There's no denying that there are moments where I just nerdgasmed like crazy, okay? There are... I mean, it's a short list, but there's some images. There's some images from this movie that genuinely sent shivers up my spine. Okay, okay. There were some moments from this film that were just surreal. The situations that take place at the Statue of Liberty in the third act. I mean, there's images. There's images from there that It's just so surreal. I mean, watching this movie is not that different from when I saw The Avengers for the first time from 2012. The experience is actually it's kind of similar in a lot of ways. I mean, this is a huge movie. This movie is 2 hours, 28 minutes. I think it's the longest Spider-Man film yet. This is a massive movie. With all those positives that I just listed, if we just push those to the side real quick, the reason why I'm in the middle when it comes to this movie is that this movie, it's like a car. And the problem is the main fuel for the car it's not some kind of natural gas, it's not diesel. The main fuel for this car is nostalgia. Nostalgic moments, just crammed, overstuffed into this movie. The multiverse stuff, is that cool? Yeah. Is the big action set pieces? Yeah. There's a chase sequence between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in another realm, right? Like in the mirror realm that I was like, ah! The pacing of this movie is bananas. This movie is 2 hours and 28 minutes, and the pacing is so fucking insane that honestly, this movie feels as if only 50-ish minutes went by, or maybe 1 hour went by. That's how relentless this movie is. That's how exciting this movie is. The way that Mr. Beast edits his videos, that's what watching this movie is like. I mean, this movie is like it's just fucking coming at you. There's a certain character that we see prior to seeing Doctor Strange for the very first time in the movie. And when we see this character, let's just say this character catches something that flies through a window, right? Watch out for it, okay? I know that's vague, but just watch out for it, okay? And literally me and the whole audience were like, ah! Ah! Also, I do want to comment on the post-credit sequences. There's two of them. The first one, I didn't really care for it that much. It was kind of whatever. Also, it was information that we already knew, so I didn't really care for it. So the first post-credit sequence, it has a certain someone who's wearing a hat that says Mexico. Watch out for it. But the first one, I was kind of like, eh. But the last one, the second post-credit sequence, holy shit, dude! It's not even. It's literally is a teaser trailer to a upcoming Marvel movie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty impressive. I for some reason I was expecting something very small, something that would just wink by, you know, but no. But here's the problem, though. There's not enough new ideas in this movie. There's not enough new, emotionally impactful, unpredictable ideas in here. When I came out of this movie, one of the first things that hit me was like, okay, moving forward, I am no longer about to follow MCU rumors like I used to. Like, never again. Another thing that struck me coming out of this movie was, wow, the trailers had a lot of information in them. Like, even like the first major trailer, like, damn, they had a lot of information in them that I wish I didn't know. I mean, nothing was ever spoiled for me, in my opinion, but there's just certain revelations, certain reveals that I heard from MCU rumors online. I'm like, oh my God, dude, in the future, I need to just black out and I just need to know borderline nothing. Because there were certain moments when I saw them in the movie, like, they were great, but it just would have been better if I didn't know. This movie, it suffers from the same problem that Avengers 2012 suffers from. Once you get over the high of seeing all these different characters on screen for the first time, once you get over that surreal sugar high from like, whoa, there's that one character. Whoa, there's that one character. Unfortunately, it sinks in really hard that this is one big, dumb kids movie. Many of the characters from different universes, many different aspects from different universes, much of the nostalgia in this that's just overstuffed in this movie, most of that stuff is pretty lazy. It's pretty shoehorned in. For example, when we see a certain somebody before we see Doctor Strange, trust me, you'll know who it is. But when we see this person, I mean, yeah, of course I nerdgasmed when I saw the person. Yeah, I freaked out when I saw the person. But at the same time, this person just came out of fuck nowhere. This person just came out of nowhere and left as suddenly and as abruptly as they arrived, and it was just like, sure, it was cool to see that person. I can't. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm happy to see them again upcoming. But at the same time, it's like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? It's almost as if they just threw the character in the movie. It's many of these ideas, like these villains from other movies, Doctor Strange, the multiverse stuff, like a lot of these ideas, they kind of just feel thrown together, almost in a rushed kind of way. I mean, there's moments, but for the most part, the humor never really landed for me. A lot of the humor doesn't really work for me. A lot of it felt really forced. Like, you almost get the impression that there was a joke comedy quota that they had to meet. As if like every 2 minutes it's like, okay, and joke. And joke. There's not enough new ideas. There's too much reliance on nostalgia. Okay, first off, Peter Parker is just fucking dumb in this movie. Well, literally most of his problems come from him just being blatantly fucking dumb. For example, like the whole spell to make everybody forget about Spider-Man, like the reason that it goes wrong is because of Tom Holland being dumb, being fucking stubborn, okay? The reason why the villains in this movie aren't done with in something like 5 minutes or less is because of stubborn, just idiotic logic from Tom Holland's character. Another problem that I had is that this movie tries to execute these big emotional moments, but they don't work because they haven't done enough with the characters. So, for example, this moment right here with Happy, a certain someone has died in this sequence, okay? And the problem is, when this person dies, the movie is trying so hard to like make you cry, to make you emotionally respond. And when this person died, I felt nothing because the past 2 movies, the present, they never fleshed out this character. They never made this character super detailed, super layered. So when this character died, it was just like, eh. Just like in the third act, Tom Holland, he's got to make a big decision. He's got to live with that decision. And this decision, it should make me, it should be a tearjerker. It should be something that's pulling at my heartstrings. Like the last 15-ish minutes, I should have been bawling my eyes out. I should have been sitting with my son being like, this is such a beautiful movie. And it doesn't work because many of these characters, I can keep going, but these are not characters that are super layered. These are not characters that are super detailed, okay? There are so many characters in here. Something fucked up happens, but I'm not attached to these characters. Like, okay, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., okay? I loved his character. I loved Robert's performance. He was just so cool. He was just so funny. He was just so witty. There's so many vivid images and moments with him. So that and we spent so much time with RDJ's Iron Man. And when he died, literally, I got choked up. Tears came to... I almost just started bawling because I genuinely care for Iron Man. And we spent so much time with Iron Man. I genuinely cared for Steve Rogers. We spent so much time with Steve Rogers. You know, I care more for the Guardians of the Galaxy than most of the characters that appear in this fucking movie. So, unfortunately, because so many of these characters are so thin, it's hard for me to get emotionally impacted by most of the dark sequences in this movie. So look, at the end of the day, this is one big, fun, exciting, dumb fucking movie. It really is. For example, the moment where Doctor Strange, he goes, yeah, let's Scooby-Doo this shit. As soon as the movie ended, I thought to myself, I don't need to see this again. I don't need to see this again. I don't need to rush out and go see this again. I don't need to call up my buddies and be like, yo, you gotta see this movie. You gotta see this movie. It's so insane. It's so insane. Like it's sadly, it's not like that. But at the same time, the movie, it's not a train wreck. I don't think that the movie is just trash. I don't think that the movie is one big hunk of shit. Out of all three movies, it feels like with this one, it feels like they were asleep at the wheel with Homecoming and Far From Home. And it feels like in this movie they woke up and they actually tried, but it's just not a great or masterful execution, in my opinion. In my opinion, Spider-Man No Way Home, I am feeling a 6. I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10. It's decent fun, but emphasis on the decent for me.